My name's Dominic Byrne. I'm the digital marketing manager at Tyres For You. Tyres For You is the parent company of Tyre Wright. Tyres For You has been around for several decades now. We're a wholesaler, so we import about 15 different products from overseas into Australia, and we distribute those products, being tyres, to independent dealers around the country. We're in the process of branding a lot of those independent dealers under one banner group called Tyre Wright. So we're aggressively moving into the retail space. Our hope is that Tyre Wright will compete with some of the big players. So I guess we're a challenger brand in the market, and we want to compete with the people like Bob Jane, Borough Repairs, Jacks, Goodyear Auto, that kind of stuff. So we're moving in at a pretty fast pace. We're the first company to implement an e-commerce portal in the tyre market, which is pretty exciting. So we've built a website that's been up now since December, which is tyrewright.com.au.
I'm Dan Wright. I'm the web projects manager at Tyres For You. I was brought into the business in particular to help launch the new Tyre Wright online presence. One of the key focus areas for us in terms of bringing the Tyre Wright brand to market was to open up what is actually reasonably new in Australia, buying tyres online. While you've been able to do that in the US and Europe for several years, it hasn't been common here. So one of the challenges to us was, and continues to be, opening the entire market up to the idea that you can do that. Along the way, we've had additional challenges with our product range. For example, we don't just pack them up into a box and ship them off to you. We need to be able to fit the tyres to your vehicle. And also, we have a high barrier to entry in that a lot of people don't know don't have detailed knowledge of the product range, and don't differentiate on much more than price. So helping them to understand the difference between value and quality of product has been an important part for us as well.
I think the big thing for us is we're not just opening up a new store and moving into the retail to that space. We're creating a whole new market. We already know that the competition's at our heels. There's several competitors that are about to launch into the e-commerce site, so we've got to continue to innovate and stay ahead. The good thing is that the Sitecore platform allows us to do that. The great thing is they've put a lot of research and development into that product, which means we can focus our resources and focus into other areas where we can best utilise our skills.
And one of the great examples for us of that was with the, when we were shopping for a CMS platform to start with. Both Dom and I have worked in IT related areas for close on the last 10 years, and we've got a lot of experience with different platforms. But when we shopped around and saw the comprehensive nature of Sitecore, we were very impressed, particularly because it allowed us, being open, to pull together the modules that already existed and then immediately make the custom enhancements. So we didn't have to worry about doing things like creating a custom e-commerce module that already exists. So all we had to do was build a custom booking system, because we place a high value on the fitment part of our sales process. So we could put our development time and energy into something like that, which solves a specific problem to our business without having to worry about reinventing the wheel, so to speak.
Yeah, and I guess the whole thing there is what we're trying to do with our product is empower our consumers and change the way that tyres are purchased. So for a mother to be at home at 11 o'clock at night and be in the comfort of her own home, wearing her pyjamas and being able to buy her tyres online at that moment and choosing the tyres that she wants. We've got certain parts of certain features in the system set up that allows you to choose the tyres that are best for you based on either performance or price, or you can even choose them on driving characteristics. So you can choose them on economy or say durability, braking distances, that kind of stuff. So giving the empowerment to the consumer makes it a whole easier process. And then, as Dan said, we're able to make changes to the custom e-commerce module, so you can actually have that booking system, so you can choose a time that's best for you. So for instance, that mother can say, okay, I'm going to book my tyres in at 11 o'clock on a Friday between picking the kids up from school and doing the groceries, that kind of thing. So it allows them to have that sort of seamless process throughout the whole purchasing.
Absolutely, and that also relates to our long-term focus, which is to make the entire concept of purchasing tyres really simple and hassle-free. Not just the initial purchase, but also the actual lifetime of the product then. And that's where we're really excited about the future that we have with Sitecore again, because the platform allows a great deal of personalisation. We see a big future in terms of what we're doing in personalisation and in localisation, and those are two areas which we're starting to really develop key profiles for and get into the details of constant contact points, because our product has a longer life cycle than most.
Yeah, one of the big things that was a key differentiator to choose Sitecore is that that allows, you can give as little or as much control to various users, permission-based controls to utilise the site. That's really important for us. We've got about 70 Tyre Right stores at the moment out there in the market. We hope to have several hundred in the near future. There's a really big disparity with our stores and how they operate. Some of the stores have been around basically running their own show for the last 15, 20, 30 years. And others have recently just come on board. So the way they operate is very, very different. So we want to give some control to those stores to manage their own store pages, and I guess, as Dan said, create that localisation effect. So, you know, if that locals teams and they're based up north in somewhere like Coffs Harbour and they sponsor the Coffs Harbour netball team, then we should be able to give them control to be able to upload images and make that give that sort of local feel. So we're a big national brand. But we can sort of focus down to that localised, personalised level.
Absolutely. And we can still maintain the editorial consistency using the workflow functionality in Sitecore. So each of these stores that want to participate at that level can maintain their own content, but we still have final oversight before anything gets published to the website, which, you know, ensures consistency across the brand, but also means that the workload of the central team at the head office isn't increased exponentially managing that either.
Yeah. One of the big things that was exciting to us is that you can actually create, I guess you can build a user profile of somebody that's a consumer or customer that's come to your site. Our audience is basically anyone that drives a car. So it's so wide and it's so large. So we've created a whole lot of, like, I guess, niche profiles within that audience, and we've come up with about 23 so far that are quite specific. Soon we'll be rolling out 7 profiles onto the website. So when someone comes to the site and they start engaging with specific products, we build a bit of a profile of who that person is and what kind of messages we may want to give to that person. And that, I think, is really going to help with that personalisation that we're aiming for. So, for instance, if someone was to come to the site and they're only looking at very high-end, expensive tyres, then we're probably thinking that there's probably someone that drives a luxury vehicle. They're into their performance. So we've got to start thinking of what kind of content we want to serve to that person while they're on the site in that time period, or even when they come back to the site, say, in 4 or 6 weeks' time. So, and that's where we can also use a lot of multimedia and embed that into the site. For an example, you might have someone that we sort of think's a young sort of entrepreneurial person that's probably a little bit vain in choice. They drive a luxury vehicle, so they're looking at the high-end tyres. So a good way there is probably to show a 2-minute video perhaps of, say, the way a Pirelli tyre is manufactured, and show how a Pirelli Formula 1 tyre is manufactured and how that is quite similar to the tyre that he's about to purchase, and that kind of thing might boost his ego a little bit and even get him across the line to actually make that purchase. So that's an area that we're focusing on. We think will be quite a good.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, tyres, again, you know, it's one of the real challenges with the product range. They're highly engineered and very detailed products, but, you know, the truth is that most of us only select tyres once every 3 to 4 years when we're up for a roadworthy and the mechanic tells us that we need to replace them. And so communicating the detail in a compelling and interesting and valuable way. So as Dom says, the multimedia aspect of it is definitely a very important part of the strategy for us, and not just in terms of performance, but at each one of our key profiles we see ways to do that in terms of things like safety messages and braking distances and things like that for the mother profile that we've got going, and it just extends further and further. So we see content as being the big driver over time.
Yeah, I think our biggest challenge, which is quite hard and quite unique in the market, is that our customers probably don't want to come back and see us for about 3 to 3.5 years. The average tyre replacement is about 3.2 years. So for what we want to try and achieve is try and establish a relationship or or to try and deliver an experience that's good enough that that person's going to want to come back in 3 years' time. So we're using the Sitecore platform to constantly implement features and continually develop the website. As we say, that a great website is never ever finished, so we're always looking to innovate and be the early adopters and continue to stay at the forefront. So that's a big area of focus.
Absolutely. And related to that is the opportunity to find new and simple, effective ways to stay in touch with our customers over that lifetime. So we're looking at things like implementing a loyalty program, service reminders, and really useful tips too. Most people don't realise things like something as simple as maintaining the correct pressure in your tyres could save you a couple of $100 a year, and also help your tyres last probably another 6 months longer. So that's real financial benefit that you can get straight off the top.
And we're already seeing success in some of the features we've implemented. We've got a user reviews and ratings sections on the site. Those kind of features take quite some time and momentum to build. But I did read an article recently that a lot of women, when they're shopping, they prefer to make a choice based on someone else's preferences and opinion over price. So slowly the user reviews rating we're seeing that to be quite successful, and to actually have someone give their valuation of a product will assist someone else to buy it. So that's another key area as well.
Absolutely. And I think the thing for us is when we first sort of took a look at this strategy, I guess it's pretty well known that the traditional purchase funnel model is pretty much well and truly gone in the digital age. But one thing that Dom latched onto quite early and we're really focused on is the pre and post purchase service. Hitting people at that research phase, but then also following up with them once they've made the purchase and maintaining that relationship. And so, offering real and meaningful value to people over an ongoing relationship is actually a really important focus for the site and for what we're doing in the future.
Yeah, we started to use the purchase funnel example internally just to explain to our own staff. We're quite fortunate at Tyres For You and Tyre Right that we're relatively empowered to make our own decisions in the digital space, which is something that's really, really important. You need to get executive buy-in, and one of the ways we explain that is traditionally the purchase funnel has like 5 stages, and the purchase funnel has been something that's been taught at schools and universities for the last 100 years, and in the last 10 years it's been fundamentally turned on its head. You used to have the 5 stages of like awareness, opinion, consideration, preference, purchase, and you'd start at the wide end of the funnel, and marketers would market all their products to you until you'd work your way down until you had one product at the final choice. That's just completely changed. Now you've just got this wide, big open space where you've got multi-touch points that are out there in the whole digital sphere, and it's about trying to engage with your users and understanding the consumers and where they want to touch. These days, there's all these new phrases being thrown around about omni-channel marketing and multi-channel marketing, that kind of stuff. I think a good terminology that I recently heard is just total retail, just one brand space, and being able to pull your information from the same databases and the same promotions and make sure that information is readily available out there so that your consumer can interact at any of those touch points and have the same seamless experience. And that's one thing that Sitecore allows us to do, is we've got all of our social media and we're growing with our customers and how they want to interact with us. I think no matter what business you're in, and we sell tyres, which is pretty uneventful, they're black round circles of rubber and no one's interested in them. So, but the business logic, the process and procedures, the principles of marketing all still remain exactly the same. So it's just how you apply those. And the only thing that I think remains different in that area is just how the consumer might interact with your brand and your products, because in that instance it's a little bit different. So you've got to be able to adapt with that, grow with your customer, and just engage with them completely.
Absolutely. And for us, we're not just an online retailer, we're, a bricks and clicks business. Because fitment is a key focus of what we're doing. It also means that we want a really strong philosophy across whatever the technology or experience. So we don't look at a difference between online and offline experience. We look at it as a whole Tyre Right experience, that total retail. And we want to build a system that covers both those areas equally well, so that our customers do have that total retail experience with us.
Yeah, and I think if I could offer one area of advice, it would be to spend a lot of time choosing the resources and the people and the products and the services that you want to use. You've got to look at whatever digital platform you're building, whether it's a website or an implementation of a technology-based platform. you've got to look very long term, 2-3 years ahead. We actually envisage the future somewhat 10-15 years from now to see where we want to be. That's really, really important because you've got to be adaptable and ready to change. So the biggest thing I think, no matter what, is you just focus on customer service through that whole period, whether they're online and they're interacting that way or they're in the store. Customer service is key, and as I said, just make sure you pick the right people. We benchmark Sitecore up against several other content management systems. As Dan said before, we were both familiar with a lot of content management systems, but we had to put them in the spotlight and have a look at the return of investment and to see which one was going to be best for us. And that's exactly the same when we chose our web development partner. We went out to the market. We spoke to many customers who had used this web dev company and other ones we're looking at, and we benchmarked them that way to ensure we chose the right one.
In the end, we went with a company by the name of Switch IT, based out of Sydney. We've been really happy with both these partnerships. They've been really key to us. And I mean, that's the thing for us, is because we've never looked at this as a short-term project. You don't just build a website and throw it away anymore. It's a long-term process, and that's our core message internally, is that we never ever stop. The technology changes too quickly. Too many new things are coming to market all the time. And in a competitive space, your competitors will constantly push you to keep innovating anyway. So for us, it was really important to find two partners that we could stick with through the long haul, and we're very, very glad that we've been able to do that.
Yeah, and we've been very fortunate with our results. We launched the website in December last year, so it hasn't been up for very long. We've already had 7 out of 9 record months in regards to number of sales made, revenue that's come through the door. So it's an incremental improvement as long as each month is better than the next. That's the main thing. We continue to drive more and more traffic every single month, and we're converting more of that traffic. A lot of businesses these days, or a lot of commentators, push an emphasis on conversion. The biggest thing for us though is you can't get conversion unless you've got engagement. So you've got to engage with the consumer, you've got to hold their hand through the whole purchasing process to ensure that experience is the best that it can be.
And conversion is one of those things that I think also needs to be taken with a grain of salt, because it's a very specific subset of your users at any given point in time. The people who are ready to purchase right now and can be converted is a subsection of the total number of users that you have. With a product range like ours, there's a distinct research life cycle and a demographic breakdown in terms of who's researching and how far out they research that we need to pay attention to as well. And for us, that's that pre-purchase kind of focus that we mentioned earlier.
Yeah. And we are going to be growing relatively fast. We only launched TieRight 18 months, 2 years ago, and we've already got 70 stores out there in the market. The e-commerce site is up there and functioning really, really well, and we're going to continue to innovate with that and continue to add more features. So we do need a product that's going to grow with us. The great thing about Sitecore is that it's very scalable. Depend on how much redundancy you want and how much, I guess, downtime is of importance to you, or if it is down, how much damage that can do to your business. So the fact that you can have as many failover servers and building redundancy, that's also a very positive point.
Absolutely, and again, the ongoing development then from Sitecore's core team in terms of upgrades and the regular roadmap, which is always one of my most exciting talks to be at when I'm at the symposium, just to see what's planned for the future and what will be rolled into the core product as it comes along. It's really reassuring, because we're working on a platform that continues to innovate and draws into its core packaging things that make our lives easier. And it's actually a real reflection of the philosophy that we try to bring to our customers, in terms of if we can do something that makes their life easier, then that's a good thing to do, and we will. And Sitecore has the same sort of attitude towards us. So.
Yeah. And if because we are looking 5, 10 years, 15 years in the future, there could be some areas we want to, I guess, put a really strong focus on, and that might be really detailed reporting or attribution modelling, something like that. So we've even looked at some products that we may want to implement down the track, and the good thing is that they're interoperable with Sitecore, and we know that we can combine the two and use them on the one platform.
And I mean, for us in-house, that means that we at the moment run a simple stock management interface, but we have 14 warehouses located around the country. As Dom said, we've got about 70 stores online now. It'll be around 200 within the next couple of years. We want to be able to get to the point where we're actually pulling stock figures in the back end of our system in real time once we've identified where a user is, so that we can direct them to a store that has the product they're after in stock right now, rather than have to wait a day or two for it to be shipped from a warehouse. Or conversely, if it's not available, provide them an accurate shipping time for when it will be available, so that they can again book their fitment at a time that's convenient to them. The product will literally be sitting there in the bay waiting for them to just drive straight in and get the tyres put on.
I think I'm running out of things to say.